First of all, I just want to welcome everybody. I'm excited that you're here. I feel like I'm just in my comfort zone with my research admin peeps and the scientists that I work with. This is just a great crowd. First of all, I'm Crystal Hubler-Butterbaugh. I actually have been at Penn State for about 14 years. I was at ARL Penn State as a research administrator, negotiator, about 11 years. And then I decided to dive into the rest of the community, and with the great help of CIRO, Strategic Interdisciplinary Research Office, they've been mentoring me. Thank you, Allison. She's in here somewhere. Did she show up today? I thought I saw her. There she is, hiding in the back. And I still rely on Allison once in a while. But also, I think of this community particularly as not just us in this alone. There's many in here. You, Nikki. I don't know who all the faces here, but this group really works hard to support your research. And so over to Mark.
So my name is Mark. I've been in State College most of my life. I grew up here and then I left for a while because I thought it was better other places, and I was wrong. But I've been with ABRL for a solid 3 months. So before that I was in accounting, so I annoy people about the numbers and how they're spending money, and I'm still doing that today.
Yeah, he's our numbers man, but he does technical. He's awesome. Before we get into this, I wanted to, something else that we're offering, and I don't think I heard this, that we are planning to do. Flavia, we love having Flavia and Walt here. We're so thankful for them as our PMs on these projects. We are also looking to have Flavia become one of our OPSEC compliance people. Penn State, as we're aware, we know of at least just one. So we found, because we're very interdisciplinary and we're working with several groups, that is part of an offering we will have. We know there are a couple trainings a year, so it'll take a bit, but we're going to do that in the future as well. Okay, so Flavia did a really great presentation on this management process. The parts in green are where we come into this. What we've done is we really looked at this process as a team approach. The group is pulling us in early. Flavia's group will look, and Flavia and Walt will look at the opportunities. They'll capture it, they'll say, yes, we want to go after this, and then they pull us in right away. And we're going to go through those steps. So I'll start with the first one. And this is general research administration. There might be a couple caveats here. We help, the PM will review the solicitation, but what the research admin group does is we do a deep dive on all those requirements, and we provide the guidance, because that's the area that the research admin group excels in. One key difference, and you may have seen this with CIRO, and it's done a little differently, because we're so interdisciplinary and we don't really own our own faculty. We reach out to all the great scientists in the community, like Dr. Kwan, and I see Ida's here as well. Tim may be here. No, he's not here today. These are folks we've worked with. And we partner with the PI's college, and this is a partnership that we're building upon. We want everything to be transparent, and we want integrity of this organization. So a critical decision point for us is to ensure the dean of the college or research dean of the college and the research admin director is aware of what's happening, and we will reach out to them early in the process and get their buy-in. We do something, and we've, another kudos to CIRO, we've adopted a proposal planning document. And CIRO has developed this, and you'll get a visual of this here momentarily. They've developed this for large, complex proposals. And what our idea is, because we are involved in those types of proposals, very interdisciplinary, very international, we've adopted that methodology, and you'll see that soon. We work with Flavia and Walt on meetings on the administrative. So the clear line between the PM, they're the technical. They're taking all the technical and handling that. We're taking the administrative requirements. As standard, we do sub-package request forms, and we do the standard budget and proposal. So I was speaking of this proposal planning document, and this is just one spreadsheet at very high level, and I really like this when I got to CIRO, because we can create checklists, but what this does, we have, as Flavia said, we'll have a kickoff meeting pre-award with the entire team, the technical team, the admin team, and we will actually go through all the high-level requirements. What you're seeing here is the administrative timeline. We work with our team and say, okay, here's when we need to do this, here's when we need this. And then Flavia or Walt on the back end are creating their own schedule with their technical folks to meet our requirements. Mark, do you want to go over this document?
So whenever we look at a proposal, it has a lot of information in it, and you don't want to keep going back to that. So what we're going to do is we put together a planning guide. It'll list pages, it'll list everything that you need. It'll list page numbers, and then other information. So we have an NIH grant right now. It's not the same as the normal U01, so we need to make sure that people know that there's more pages that are allowed. So it just gives more information, easy place to go to, so you're not going back to what the research is, a 175-page document.
Yeah.
So it takes a quick minute to go through those. So it's easier to just go to this, figure out where everything is, and then if you have more questions, we're always there for you. Anything else?
I think that's good. So one thing, and before we got to this, another thing that I forgot to mention, it was up there, my eyes just gleamed over it. One thing, when Elaine came on board, we realized we had some gaps in our initial kickoff meeting. So the gaps were groups such as OSP, Office of Research Protection, other offices. For instance, if we are working with an international partner and they're going to be doing animal research, we learned a really hard lesson last year. One of our PIs submitted a proposal and through us, but the international partner did not have a really robust IRB protocol. So we ended up, when the award came in, when we worked with IRB, they weren't comfortable with that, so we had to kick the sub-award out. So we've learned along the way that we want those people in the beginning, so we call this our initial huddle. So when we have a kickoff, that's internal to the team, to our scientists, to our admin team. But then we expand that to a huddle, and we've learned that that is really, and Elaine and I did some onboarding last year with all of those groups, Office of Technology Management, Legal Counsel, to get their buy-in with this huddle. And it's been working out well for us, and it's saved us a lot of delays during negotiations and so on. And then we come to the selection and negotiations. Elaine will be talking about OTAs. We have various types of contract mechanisms that we're working through. And sometimes, particularly with the OTAs, it's not just you submit a proposal and you get an award. There are multiple steps throughout the process. You may be working with the government to revise the SAL. It may go back. It may come back to you where the middle consortium wants more information to update your proposal. This office, the Research Admin Office, we are the liaison with OSP to manage those questions, and then we work with the PM to be the liaison with the sponsor as well. We also, as any research office does, we monitor negotiation process, follow up, and provide input to general requirements. This area, too, has been really interesting for me because I was a negotiator at ARL. So it's interesting to now have to have a shared resource. I think all of us, probably most of us in this room except ARL, we share our negotiators, right? And that can be challenging because they, in front of us, may have 30 other contracts that they have to do. So what we see where we can add value is get a lens on some terms and help guide them and help connect the scientists with OSP. If they're stuck on let's say an Office of Research Protection term, connect them with the scientists. We have that lens to make those connections, and what we found is that's mitigating a lot of back and forth negotiations as well. So in concert with the PM, again, we have a very team approach. We work on the data rights, IP technology, control plan, and so on. Mark, you're up.
All right, so this is when you all get to work with me. I know, it's exciting. All right, so with your awards, you're probably going to have subs because you can't do everything yourselves. I know, hard to believe. So I will help you put those together. We'll get those submitted. We'll make sure that they get paid. And then along with that, most of the work we do is international right now. So you're going to travel, you're going to go overseas, different conferences. I will help you with that part. The financial management, so we make sure that everything is allocable, reasonable, and allowable. So I don't know when the last time you all read any of those policies were, like travel or the consultant agreements, but we forget what's going on. So sometimes we have to remind people and make sure that everything is going through properly. Like I said, all the fun policies. So, and then we provide access to your financial team if you're not going to be using us or if your team wants more access to see what's going on in their department. So we can use I2, we can use FIT, we go through all the fun IDA stuff until SIMBA comes along. I hear that's going to fix everything. So we make sure that your team and our team are all on the same page and everyone has the same information, so nothing gets lost in the weeds. So, and then we do this with the partner approach, so everyone's on the same board, or on the same page. And then afterwards, whenever you're done with your research, you're worrying about all your publications and everything, we're helping you make sure everything gets closed out.
And a couple things to add there on the closeout. So our PMs will help the scientists with the technical closeout components, final reports and so on. And then our group will obviously do all the administrative side, any invention reporting, property, and so on. So this is really important for everybody to know, because the question that may be on your mind, okay, what does this mean to partner with ABRL administratively? So if we're going to be administrator, it does fall under an ABRL budget line. We're going to talk about that in the last slide, that you lose no credit. Basically, you're getting our service for free. But because of the VPR and ARL and Huck, and they wanted this mission for the university to create more of an interdisciplinary approach, that is our purpose, to help facilitate that. We can do that. We've done that in a couple different ways. And I'm going to give kudos to Yu's group, engineering. She's been working with me because we've had a couple of her scientists on our projects. And somebody asked earlier about, asked Flavia about the financials and so on. We do provide those because it is limited access. We have always used FIT, but we are transitioning over to I2 because it will do an automatic reporting. But again, you know, we're in that fine line. I think most of you have heard of SIMBA, the financial system's changing next year. That should make things even smoother. But right now, we are providing those services just to kind of get through this next year. But we do, some scientists like to have, they have maybe a finance assistant that they like to have do their P-card reconciliation or travel. That's what we say partner approach. You're welcome to do that because we want to make this easier for the scientists. But we also offer those services as well. Okay, so our final slide, and this one is, I think, what we've learned going out to the community. Elaine and I, we did our first visit with George Lessor at engineering and UU to talk about what does this look like to work with ABRL. And we are, so we've done that already. We planned engagements this summer. We're going to go out to other colleges. But really when the rubber meets the road, some of the important things that you all have been concerned about is the RIF, right? It changes nothing. It's based on, you know, the assignment of credit. It changes nothing for you. Everything you as the scientist set the assignment of credit, you determine that. This is not where you have to pay ABRL a fee to use this. This all goes back to you. And it's the same assignment of credit. And SIMS, one question like how do we do our reporting? We worked with John Hanold, Kimberly Croft on various things. SIMS reporting and via faculty participation, so you don't lose that. You have visibility into that. And one of the big questions, okay, my end of year annual report from my college, like, am I going to lose my expenditures? You lose nothing. We validated research accounting. This all goes back to your home college. So we are a service. We're helping to, as Elaine and Flavia had talked earlier, bridging your science, helping you administer those complex and SMEs in certain areas such as OTAs and enclaves. Okay. Any questions?
Anybody?
I have a pondering question for you. Okay, because I kind of predicted this, because you know, it's research admin, it's dry, whatever. I'm curious, because I've been here 14 years, and I've seen I have been privileged to work at ARL, and I say the university, because ARL has a different business model, finance systems, we see things differently. I've got to see both sides of that. So I'm curious from you, and maybe you don't have a question today because I'm just asking you, what would be your wish list in this whole process? Something to think about. Your wish list of from project management to research administration as our support to you, you know, is there, I would like to see a different checklist, or I would like to see, you know, I would like to be involved in a huddle. I would, you know, you probably have lots of ideas that you thought, wow, my proposal, maybe a proposal writing workshop for an OTA. Think about that. You will have our contact. We'll be around, but we're always around. We're not going anywhere, but I would challenge you to think about that, because that's part of what we're trying to do. Think critically about those areas. How can we improve and support you better and get you a win proposal and manage your award appropriately? Thanks, everybody.